Okay, today we shall discuss about the applications of geothermal energy. First, aquaculture and oil culture. In geothermal energy, that is geothermal energy used in renewable energy, that is geothermal renewable energy used in aquaculture and also oil culture. Here, 80% of demand is for farming, that is for agriculture purpose we need a electricity. How we get electricity means for 80% of energy demand from farming only, that is from vegetable growers, that is met by using geothermal energy. They are saying that fish growers from many countries like China and Japan, even Iceland, they use geothermal power. Next is the industry and agriculture. Industry and agriculture, here it is used for where geothermal energy is used means for drying fruits, vegetables, wood, and drying wood, and extraction of gold and silver from ore. For these applications they use a geothermal energy. This is mainly agriculture. Okay, for industries are also another consumers for geothermal energy. Here they are saying that geothermal power generation is playing a major role in industry and agriculture. Next is a food processing. It is used for sterilizing of equipment and also rooms. Okay, the earth naturally contains a endless supply of heat and also steam, which can be utilized for sterilizing equipment and rooms. And there are many potential uses of geothermal energy in food processing. Next is a residential use. It is used for space heating and also air conditioning, that is cooling and heating. Okay. Geothermal prawn farming. The world's one only geothermal heated prawn farm was established in 1987 on the banks of the Waikato River next to the Wairakei Power Station. Here they are saying that this is an application. Okay, this good example of what is known as a cascade use, where geothermal heat as a function past its primary purpose. Cascading will improve the overall efficiency of a resource by using its waste products. In the case of the prawn farm, cascading also reduces the discharge of hot water into the river, where it can harm aquatic life. This is a geothermal prawn farming. They are saying that this will improve the overall efficiency of a resource by using what? By using its waste products. In the case of prawn farm, cascading will also reduce discharge of hot water into the river. If discharge of hot water into the river, then where it can harm aquatic life. Okay, this will reduce the cascading process. Next is I have already said that geothermal energy is also used to heat sidewalks and roads to prevent freezing in the winter. Okay, in you can observe in winter season and also in the hot season, summer season. In Netherlands began using geothermal energy to keep bike lanes from freezing in the winter time. Okay, there it will be snow in the roadside and it is difficult to ride the bikes and all. So they are somewhat geothermal energy to keep bike lanes from freezing. Okay, if the bike will freeze, we cannot move forward for that. We cannot move forward. So they are using geothermal energy to keep bike lanes from freezing in the winter time. Okay. Here, horticulture. Geothermal waters are used for heating greenhouses on small scale, that is especially for the commercial out of season production of vegetables, flowers and fruits. This include a large greenhouse that is for growing for export, and another set for grow heat from the geothermal field. They are used for agricultural purpose, agriculture purpose and industrial, and also for roadside. You have observed that figure. They are using for roadside applications, and also we have used for commercial, that is commercial and residential buildings. Okay. Applications of geothermal energy, that is space heating, air conditioning, drying, greenhouses and aquaculture, melting snow. That is what melting snow. I have said about this na, melting snow. This is only melting snow and hot water. From geothermal energy we can get hot water. How we use solar powered hot water, like that. Okay, solar based hot water. Next is the types of geothermal power plant. We have discussed already two types of power plants in yesterday class. Now we shall discuss with the types of geothermal power plant. We have discussed classification. Now it is a types of geothermal power plant. In yesterday class I have not said about binary cycle. Today once again we shall recall about all the power plants. Direct dry system, or we can dry steam power plant. It uses a superheated pressurized steam, that is 180 degree to 350 degree Celsius. You can observe here geothermal zone. Here heat is passed through the turbine and steam output. Okay, and it is condensate, hot well, water, and next to cooling tower. Okay, whatever the steam is produced here, it will go to the generator, and that is output is electricity. Okay, here we use a geothermal energy, that steam plants use a hydrothermal fluids that are primarily steam. Okay, steam goes directly to a turbine which will drive the generator that produces electricity. Here steam eliminates the need to burn fossil fuels to run the turbine. In some cases, some power plants, they will burn the fossil fuels to run the turbine. Here no need of burning the fossil fuels. Steam will eliminate that process. Okay, steam goes directly to the turbine from the earth. Okay, these plants emit only excess steam and very minor amount of gases. This is about dry steam power plant. Here they are saying that steam produced directly from the reservoir runs the turbine that power the generator. Dry steam system, it is a simple, and it requires a steam and condensate injection piping. You can observe here steam and condensate injection piping. Okay, steam and condensate injection piping, and it requires minimal steam cleaning devices, and it requires a rock catcher to remove large solid, and it requires centrifugal separator to remove condensate and small solid particles, and final scrubber to remove small particulates and dissolved solids. Okay, this first it requires steam and condensate injection piping and minimal steam cleaning devices, and it requires a rock catcher. Why we require rock catcher means to remove large solids, and centrifugal separator to remove condensate and small solid particulates, and a final scrubber to remove small particulates and also dissolved solids. Okay, this is about the dry steam. Next, flash steam power plant. It uses a hot, that is hot water above 180 degree 182 degree Celsius, that is 360 Fahrenheit, from geothermal reservoirs. Here they are saying that it is fluid is sprayed into a tank held at a much low pressure than the fluid. They are saying that it is a much lower pressure than the fluid. Flash type. Here the flash steam means it refers to the process where high pressure hot water is flashed. Okay, that is a high pressure hot water is flashed and into a steam inside a flash tank by lowering the pressure. What it will do means flash steam refers to the, it has a high pressure. Okay, it has high pressure hot water. Okay, high pressure hot water will flash. Okay, flash into the steam inside the flash tank by lowering the pressure. Okay, here you can observe flash tank is there. Okay, next turbine. Here the vapor, that fluid is sprayed into a tank held at a much lower pressure than the fluid. That means it will be starting at high pressure and it is decreased to low pressure. The vapor then drives to a turbine which drives the generator. If liquid remains in the tank only, it can be flashed again in a second tank. Okay, that will happen in the double flash. Okay, and that will happen in the double flash steam power plant. If any liquid remains in the tank, it can be flashed again in second tank. That happens in the double flash tank. Okay, double flash steam power plant to extract even more energy. This is a double flash geothermal steam electric power. If any amount of water steam is present in the first tank, then it is again that is, if any liquid remains in the tank, then it is again flashed again in the second tank and the process is continued. Okay, you can observe here there is a separator for this. The fluid is sprayed into a flash tank which is held at a much lower pressure than the fluid, causing it to vaporize rapidly to steam. The steam is then passed through a turbine coupled to a generator as per dry steam power plants. It is a similar process as compared with the dry steam power plants. It's a binary cycle power plant. Before going to the binary cycle power plant, first we should know the advantages and disadvantages about the flash geothermal power plant. They are saying that most common method is flash steam method. Okay, this is the most common method they are using in the present. Okay, the flash steam is today's most common power plant. This steam is then used here. They are saying that water exists as a compressed liquid. When the compressed liquid water reaches the surface at atmospheric pressure, then a portion of immediately flashes to steam. Here, this is a process. Okay, and next advantages is very low emissions, safe and reliable, immune to varying weather conditions, sustainable, small footprint, and cost-effective overall life of a plant, and no fuel cost. Okay, many advantages: low emission, no fuel cost, and safe and reliable, immune to varying weather conditions, cost effective and sustainable, and small footprint. What about disadvantages? High initial cost, increased risk of seismic activity, and location sensitive, risk of over exploiting resources. This is a disadvantages about a flash steam power plant. Next, we shall discuss about the binary cycle power plant. It is an insufficiently hot resource to efficiently to produce the steam. Too many chemical impurities to allow flashing. Here they use a heat exchanger. In the binary cycle process, you can observe they are saying that moderate temperature water is used in it, or geothermal fluid and a secondary fluid with a much lower boiling point than the water passed through a heat exchanger. They are saying that hot geothermal fluid and a secondary fluid, hot thermal, geothermal fluid and also a secondary fluid with a much lower boiling point. Okay, both have a low boiling point. Okay, lower boiling point when you compare with the water passed than water. So it will pass through a heat exchanger. Hot geothermal fluid and a secondary fluid with a much lower boiling point than water, it will pass through a heat exchanger. Okay, heat from the geothermal fluid causes the secondary fluid to flash to vapor, which then drives the turbine. Same process they have said here also. The secondary fluid which has a lower boiling point than water, example isobutane or pentane, it is vaporized and expanded through a turbine to generate electricity. In binary cycle process, they are saying that geothermal fluid is passed through a heat exchanger. The fluid is passed through a heat exchanger, and next the secondary fluid which has a lower boiling point will then the water is vaporized and expanded through a turbine to generate electricity. You can observe here, this is a geothermal fluid. Okay, geothermal fluid is passed through the heat exchanger and the output is secondary fluid. Okay, output is secondary fluid. Secondary fluid, how much it has means heat, how much heat is there means secondary fluid will be having lower boiling point. Okay, when you compare with the water, and it is that will be vaporized and expanded through a turbine, that is passed through a turbine to generate the electricity. The working fluid is condensed and recycled for another cycle. All of the geothermal fluid is re-injected into the ground in a closed cycle system. That is, binary cycle power plants can achieve higher efficiency than flash steam. They are saying that it can achieve a higher efficiency than flash steam plants, and they allow the utilization of lower temperature resources. In addition, here corrosion problems are avoided and binary cycle plants are more expensive. This is the main disadvantage here. Binary cycle plants are more expensive and large pumps are required, which consume a significant percentage of the power output of the plants. Okay, here large pumps are required and also here it is a more expensive. And the large pumps which consume a significant which consume a percentage of the power output of the plants. That is, for example, if we produce electricity from binary cycle process, for example 1 kilowatt we produce means for half of the some amount, large amount it is used for that is large amount of required for large pumps. Okay, here they are saying the same thing. Large pumps are required which will consume, okay, which will consume a significant percentage of the power output of the plants. Okay, multi-purpose total energy utilization of geothermal resources. Steam separated in a conventional manner and used to supply cheap water. They are saying that steam separated in a conventional manner and used to supply a cheap water. CO2 extracted from the gases are used for refrigeration and food processing. Okay, CO2 extracted from the gases that is used for refrigeration and also food processing. Next is hydrogen sulfide refined to obtain sulfur, and hot water could supply a desalination plant. Hot water would also provide air conditioning and refrigeration. This is a multi-purpose total energy utilization of geothermal resources. The applications different in different ways or different manner, they have used the geothermal resource, geothermal energy. Okay, total multi-purpose total energy utilization of geothermal resource. Where they have used means they use a steam separated in conventional manner, and it is used to supply a cheap water, and CO2 is extracted from the gases that is used for refrigeration and also food processing. And hydrogen sulfide, it is refined to get the sulfur, and hot water can supply a desalination plant, and the hot water would also provide a air conditioning and also refrigeration. This is about the multi-purpose total energy utilization of geothermal resources. In next class, we shall discuss with the one more topic that is I have not mentioned here. Resource exploration, and also we should discuss about maintenance also, that is electrical and mechanical features. And next we should discuss about the operation of geothermal plants. Okay, in next class we shall discuss about that.